What's up, YouTube? Today I'm going to go through some of the features that I like and some of the features that I would change on the 3F UL Gear GuiJi 35 Ultralight pack from China. So as I said, this is the 3F UL Gear GuiJi, I believe it's spelled G-U-I-J-I, GuiJi 35 Ultralight pack from China. I'm going to run through a few of the things that I like about this pack, and I'm going to run through a few of the things that I think that they can improve on this pack. I'll run through just some of the main features. What we have right here is a X-Pack main bag that is got no external pouches. It is seamless all the way through. The only seams that we have on this pack is the seams where it meets the back panel, which I would say makes this main bag extremely water resistant. On the exterior of this pack, we have no side pouches. We have no exterior pouches with the exception of this stretch mesh dump pouch area at the back, which basically wraps around the entire pack with one central cinch point right here, which also attaches to the main lid and pack cinch down. We have some 1/8 inch shock cord, which you can use to cinch down your bag to a certain degree, but also it's used to hold down trekking poles and tent poles, etc., anything long on the outside of this pack. The hip belt on this bag is very comfortable. It is got two hip belt pouches, which are about 6 inches by, I'd say, 3.5 inches, large enough to hold a mobile phone and maybe a few gels or snacks or keys or what have you. They're not very big, but they are also made of the same material as the stretch mesh dump pouch area along the back of the pack. The hip belt itself is I think it's pretty standard now, where you pull on one loop over here and it cinches down the main belt. It goes through two small buckles. At first I thought that was a bit gimmicky, but then I realized it actually functions, so I can't complain about it. The hip belt on this pack is removable in case you want to run like a day pack weight on here and you don't feel you need a hip belt. I personally feel like I do need a hip belt on most packs just to stop it from sliding around on me, because I do a lot of agility stuff and ducking under logs and having to move around a lot, so I can't have my pack sloshing around on me and so on. The bottom is reinforced Cordura, so that's good, so you don't have your bottom of your pack wearing out. I currently have the same loadout that I had loaded into my 3F UL Gear 40+16 pack. I have in here. So everything that I had in that pack, I now have in here. I've got two 500-liter bottles on the outside. There's a couple of nice, neat features back here that you can kind of make out, where if you wanted to, you could take your water bottle out, slide it in the side like this, and make it a little more accessible on the go. But I did find that eventually these things kind of make their way to being vertical, and then guess what? They fall out. So I just tuck them in here as such. I've got my Big Agnes Fly Creek 2 tent, my headlamp, my rain jacket, and another 500 milliliter bottle on the other side. As I said, it's a roll top pack. The roll top cinches down on the side here. I'm going to flip this around so you can see the other side. And we're going to start getting into some of the things that I would change about this pack if I could. One thing I will mention, that when it arrived with a somewhat rigid back frame in this upper portion here, with this spun mesh plastic woven material that was supposedly, I guess, for padding. The same spun plastic woven material was in here. And I will tell you this, when the edges of that spun woven material pokes through this mesh and it pokes through my shirt and it poked into my skin, it was extremely irritating. So I pulled that out. Didn't need it anyways. This just gives me enough breathability and enough padding as it is, this mesh material. And when this pack arrived, it does come with one single aluminum stay here that is pre-bent to allow for some stability on your spine. I pulled that out. I pulled the spun stuff out. I pulled the semi-rigid pad thing out, and I prefer it much better as a soft bag. And inside I have a sit pad acting as my frame area. As I said, this waist belt or hip belt is very comfortable, very, very comfortable. And the shoulder pads, we're starting to get into some of the areas here where I would change a couple things. These shoulder pads, I prefer a slightly beefier shoulder pad. I prefer a little bit more comfort. And I even with just a shade over 20 pounds for my whole loadout, I find that these are a little bit, they could be more comfortable. But they'll do if it's just a day pack that you're using. One thing that I do like about this is they've got daisy chain running down the length of the shoulder straps, and I was able to repurpose a couple of MOLLE pouches, one here for my mobile phone, which I just laced on using shock cord. It worked perfectly, actually. I was like looking online for shoulder pockets or shoulder pouches, and I was like, wait a sec, maybe I'll go shopping in my closet, and lo and behold, worked perfectly. On the other side, I attached a standard AR mag pouch, and inside that standard AR mag pouch, I've got my pen flare, my predator spray, my knife, and my multi-tool. And again, just laced it on, no problemo, onto the shoulder straps. One thing that I will say that is missing from this is load levelers. I definitely prefer load levelers, or I kind of require them, because when I put a pack on, the last thing I do after I cinch up all my hip belt and my shoulder straps, the last thing I do is pull down on my load levelers, and I pull this pack into my back. So it basically becomes like a symbiotic hump on my back, or an integrated hump on my back. And I do prefer that. Now, it's marketed as having the ability to reuse these or somehow repurpose these cinch down straps as load levelers. I tried it. It's hokey. It's gimmicky. It needs dedicated load levelers. Another thing that I think is in dire need of improvement, the sternum strap is literally a piece of ribbon, and it comes loose. Guaranteed to come loose. It needs to be replaced, which I will do. That being said, all in all, I really dig this pack. I've been using the 3F UL Gear 40+16 Ultralight pack, which I paid $54 on sale to my door last year. I used it for a year. Still am using it. I have no complaints about that pack. I just wanted to try something different, and I must say I was wanting something subdued. So I'm actually a bit of a nerd for this multicam. I'm glad that I got it, and I wanted to try something different. I thought I'd really miss the side pouches. I don't really miss them, because this does the job. The other thing that I would change on this is, because it's being marketed as a subdued pack, I mean, it is an option, right? I mean, you're selling a camouflage option. Is that this area here and the side pouches, the hip belt pouches, should be made in a brown or a green Spandura or something like that. Something that isn't just a big black blob. What's the point of having a camouflage pack if you've got a big black blob here at the bottom? That's just me being nitpicky. All in all, I give this pack an 8 out of 10 for sure. And I've used it now probably 10 times on trail runs and camping out of it. Like I said, I've got everything I need in here for 3 days plus. I've got my Enlighten equipment bag at the bottom. I've got my food bag. I've got my clothing pod. Got my sleeping pad, my cook kit, my toiletries kit, my stove, my electronics charging kit, All of the stuff that I need is in this bag for 3 days, and I've got food in here for 5 days in the worst case scenario. So that being said, I think that that's all I've got to say about this, aside from the fact that I think it's pretty good. I may replace the shoulder harnesses with something I buy from another company. I've done that before on another pack. That would be the one of the improvements I'd do. And I really wish there was a way I could change this black mesh for something in olive or tan or brown or multicam. And I may look into that and try to make this bag, tweak this bag a little bit. But all in all, I'd say that this bag is a damn fine bag. To my door was $101 US to my door. That's all for now.